In this class, I will be explaining about the food resources. We can classify this topic into two, that is plants and animals. I am going to talk about the improvement in the plants, that is improvement in crop yields. This can be classified into three, that is crop production management, that is how to produce the different types of crops. But production alone is not sufficient, we have to protect the crop also. So crop protection management, this is crop production management, that is we have to produce the crop, how to produce different types of crop and what is the management required for this. And here we will be explaining about the protection of crops, how to save these crops from the insects, from worms, from birds, etc., or from any fungal attack, all these things. So crop protection management. And the third is crop variety improvement. So how we can improve the varieties of crops. So what are the major three aspects about the improvement of crop yields? 1. Crop production management. 2. Crop protection management. This is production and this one is protection management. Third one is crop variety improvement. Now let me explain about the crop production management, under which I will be explaining about three important aspects about crop production management. One is nutrient management, second is irrigation, third is cropping patterns. So all these three are brought under the crop production management. Then under crop protection management, I will be explaining about the green revolution also. Then especially when we talk about this cropping patterns, we have mixed cropping, intercropping and crop rotation. So these are the patterns we are maintaining when we produce the crop. So there are three types of cropping patterns. So the question may be asked like this: what are the three types of cropping patterns? Mixed cropping, intercropping, crop rotation. So these are the three important cropping patterns. Then under crop variety improvement, we will be discussing about the crop breeding, how to breed the crop, and there are two methods. One is hybridization, another is genetically modified crops. So what are the two major methods of crop breeding? 1. Hybridization, 2. Genetically modified crops. Now you can see the beautiful field and you can see how these crops are aligned properly. So in such a way they have plowed and they have beautifully managed the entire crop. Now food provides nutrients. So we should talk about the nutrients before discussing the crop. So food actually provides the nutrients and these are required for our health and growth. In fact, plants and animals are the sources of food. Now all living organisms generally require carbohydrates. What are carbohydrates? They are basically carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. They have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen in different ratios. Usually we have got carbohydrates like monosaccharide, disaccharide, trisaccharide and polysaccharide. This disaccharide and the trisaccharide can be called oligosaccharide. Oligo means a few. So likewise, the carbohydrate can be classified into monosaccharide, oligosaccharide and polysaccharide, and we have got different examples for each category. We will discuss in detail later. Then the living organisms need fats. So what are fats? Actually, fats are oil based. They have cholesterol, தமிழில் கொழுப்பு அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா. Then proteins. Proteins are available in cereals. In groundnut also we have. So proteins, தமிழில் புரதம் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம். Carbohydrate are called சர்க்கரை, சர்க்கரை சத்து அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம். So carbohydrates, fats, proteins. Then we essentially need some important or vital elements or materials called vitamins. They are required in very small quantity, but it is essentially required, and without that there will be some diseases, and such diseases are called vitamin deficiency diseases. And then these vitamins are popularly known as vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, and we have got some B complex, and we have got a B12, then vitamin D, vitamin E, like that. Then we have minerals. Minerals means some metal compounds. So we need some compounds like potassium, iron, calcium, etc. as essential ingredients in our food. That is, they are essential nutrients. And so these are essentially required for the growth and development of any that is a living being. Let it be a cattle or human being or anything. For example, that is, we need potassium to strengthen our inner muscle. The same potassium is also required by the grass, because grass also needs, paddy also needs some nutrients, plants also need some nutrients. So this potassium is that gives actually a very good strength to the fibers, the inner fibers of our, or inner muscle fibers of our inner organs. And the same potassium is also required by the plants, and that is why we give these what you call the fertilizers as potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc. They are all called NPK fertilizers, and mixed together can be called mixed fertilizers also. So from this, one point is clear: plants as well as animals need essential nutrients. And what are those essential nutrients? We have got 13 essential nutrients. And before that, as we already discussed, this carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, they are all required to make their food, so that they are capable of preparing that is a carbohydrates or starch, and by consuming the plants we can get those nutrients also, directly or indirectly. Then as I already suggested, there are 13 essential nutrients. And what are those 13 essential nutrients? So we can classify into two: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients, macro means in large quantity. So the nutrients which are required in large quantity can be called macronutrients. And the another 7 which are required in small quantities are called micronutrients. So the macronutrients are phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, nitrogen. And the micronutrients are iron, manganese, boron, zinc, copper, molybdenum and chlorine. So these are all micronutrients. So we must be aware of both these nutrients, that is macronutrients and micronutrients. And that is why in any field they spray such type of fertilizers to the that is plants or for crop management.